Hi, I'm Pam Stevens. I'm a librarian at the University Community Branch of the San Diego Public Library. I am a writer. I'm an active community volunteer in Mira Mesa, where I live. I'm passionate about the outdoors and the arts, and I am time challenged. My topic today is how to be or not to be on time. It's a topic I know intimately. I have researched it, and I have some of my favorite books here beside me. I prepared a PowerPoint presentation that I showed at the California Library Association and 2 years ago in person at the Mira Mesa branch to talk to people and give all of us some tips for how to be and hopefully to learn how not to be on time. Hi, I'm Pam, and I'm time challenged. If you're time challenged too, you know what that means. You have the uncanny ability to be almost but not quite on time for most of your life. I developed the habit at an early age, and I have learned ways to cope with it. In fact, I'd like to share some of those tips with you now. How to be or not to be on time. What can be done about it? Why are we time challenged? Lee Silber, a San Diego author, has written Time Management for the Creative Person, pointing out that many creative people are time challenged. But if we learn how, we can channel our creativity and impulses into still being on time. Diana DeLonser, the author of Never Be Late Again, categorizes what she calls punctually challenged into 7 different categories. My type of being time challenged is the COLUMBO syndrome, what I call the habit of being inclined to do just one more thing before moving on to the next thing. If I'm writing an email in the morning before going to work, I've just got to finish that. Oh, oops, it's 15 minutes before I've got to get out the door and I still haven't made my lunch. And uh-oh. The Columbo syndrome has some positive things. If you're a Columbo syndrome librarian like me, you want to find the very last book or other piece of information for somebody who needs it. If you're a writer, you're getting everything you need. But again, it makes it hard to arrive at work on time. Email. Oh, email. Columbo syndrome folks must remind ourselves there's no need to write the great American email when yes, 4 p.m. would do. I communicate a lot by text messaging, and same sort of thing. You don't need to be at your phone writing your full day when really you're just communicating quickly with someone. There's some essential tools for coping with the Columbo syndrome. You need a to-do list. You need some sort of timepiece. Nowadays, I don't really wear my watch, but I do have my phone in my pocket and checking that time so that I don't rely on my instincts that can be a little bit faulty. Good thing to do. To-do list can be electronic or it can be on a piece of paper. It's important to only have a few items on your daily to-do list, the most important priorities. My model for being on time is a theater company putting on a show. All the world's a stage, and I am the stage manager of my own life, to paraphrase Shakespeare. This photo was one I took when my husband and I were on vacation at the Utah Shakespeare Festival in Cedar City, Utah. Going on a backstage tour shows you how a theater company organizes their lives in order to meet that all-important deadline of curtain going up. They have a call board with the shows under production, and they list times that people need to be in the particular places. Your to-do list basics, it's important. Once you've got what to do, you also need to write down when to do it. Prepare your costumes ahead and be ready for some quick changes. That is literally true for people at home getting dressed for work as well as for a theater company, but it's also a metaphor for everything you need. Set your priorities, then keep moving. This photo of a Philippine dance group at the Mira Mesa Senior Center a few years ago is my model. Another analogy I use is the advice from Dory in Finding Nemo: keep on swimming. Focus. It's so important to focus on your main priority, not get caught up in distractions. A creative person, a Columbo syndrome person, can suddenly think of something to do. Uh-oh, what I was doing now goes totally out of my mind. Get back to the main priority. Remember key things at the right time to avoid the disastrous last-minute dash. Avoid distractions. Move faster with purpose, not panic. I love this focused chicken, and that is a model for how I'd like to spend my time moving from one thing to another. There are several helpful resources. I mentioned Never Be Late Again by Diana DeLonzor. That book can be ordered. I don't believe it's in the San Diego Public Library system at the moment, but it's a very good one. I got a copy personally. Overwhelmed, Work, Love, and Play When No One Has the Time by Brigitte Schulte, also fabulous. She has a phrase she uses called time confetti. Procrastination, classic book about how to deal with procrastinating on things. I already mentioned Time Management for the Creative People, and on the right is the classic 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and a sequel by Stephen Covey, First Things First. I'll mention him again in a moment. Eat That Frog deserves special mention by Brian Tracy. This book has the advice that the way to keep on top of your projects is to do the hardest thing first. You'll stop procrastinating if the thing that you're worrying about and you're procrastinating on is the very first thing you do. It's supposedly based on advice that if you eat a raw frog first thing in the day, everything else is easy. Fun read, good advice. Learn how to tell time. This may be a strange thing, but it's true. We time-challenged people, we Columbo syndrome people, either overestimate or underestimate how long it will take us to do something. If we overestimate, we procrastinate and don't even start. If we underestimate, suddenly we're in the middle of something and we just can't stop it, and uh-oh, we're late again. Keep things simple. You see my ingredients for a 4-item scrambler. You don't need to have a kitchen sink scrambler with tomatoes and other things in it. It's easier and very tasty just to do something simple. And decide if you're going to do it now or note it now and do it later. You can have your daily to-do list with various things to do, but don't always do them right away. Post-it notes are great. Post-it notes are a good way of keeping track of your time and what you need to do. I've sometimes covered my entire file cabinet with Post-it notes. Stephen Covey's Time Management Matrix and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is a great time management tool. He divides time into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is something that's like it's your most important thing you need to do. It's urgent and it's important. The third quadrant is urgent, but it might not be important. A ringing telephone that you don't know what it is. Again, maybe not as big a problem now with screening calls and not even picking up on calls, letting them go to voicemail unless you really have time. But who hasn't sometimes succumbed to that? Not urgent and important are things that you really want to have time to do, to start that new project at a time when it's not the last minute. Not urgent and not important are what we often end up vegging out in front of the TV when we're too tired from doing the urgent and important things or have succumbed to the urgent and not important. Quadrant 2 is where we'd like to live. All the world's a stage, and we are stage managers of our own lives. All of us can adopt the habits of a theater company putting on a show. That's the way I'd like to live my life. And in conclusion, it is possible. By following my own advice, I was able to be in my seat 5 minutes before the start of the opening session at the American Library Association annual convention in San Francisco a few years ago. Time-challenged Pammy becomes punctual Pam. It's possible.